For many of us, today's typical dinner wouldn't be possible without prepared and convenience foods. From that rotisserie chicken and prepared salads to the vegetable side dish that we buy at the supermarket or deli, prepared foods are often relied on for dinner. Now, many of us still cook our meals. We're fine with dicing and chopping and broiling and baking and frying and using the cookbook or maybe Aunt Martha's recipe. I do it, but yeah, not that often anymore. Which leads me into today's segment about prepared meals. Now, this whole concept had to start somewhere, and my vote goes to that 1950s icon, the TV dinner. In 1953, the Swanson Food Company was just coming off of disappointing sales for Thanksgiving, and they found themselves with a huge stock of leftover turkey. Their staff did some brainstorming and came up with a way to replicate the way airlines were cooking and heating their food using aluminum trays. They experimented, and it didn't take very long for them to market the first TV dinner. Initially, Swanson only had the one dinner. It was the turkey with cornbread stuffing, buttered peas, and sweet potato. The popularity was staggering. Americans bought 10 million TV dinners that first year. Along the way, dessert was added to the dinner trays, and several other entrees were introduced into the TV dinner lineup. For decades now, frozen meals have been a viable option for many of us. Just pop them in the oven or use the microwave, like most of us do. And then there's so many selections to choose from: ethnic, vegetarian, supersized, natural, organic, and most of them are billed as healthy and low calorie. Food companies have recreated so many of the foods that you and I have enjoyed eating in restaurants, but we can't prepare them at home. It's a given. Frozen dinners will always be a popular lunch or dinner option, and so will freshly prepared foods. Today's prepared foods have grown so much in popularity that they generate $25 billion in sales annually, according to the market research firm Supermarket Guru. The most common reason consumers turn to pre-made foods is a lack of time. Both single and two-income families find themselves with long working hours, and that's not helped by Greater Boston's well-known long commute times. And on top of everything else, it seems that everyone is just super busy, and at the end of the day, it makes cooking very difficult. So we're inclined to buy prepared foods, something affordable, nutritional, and you know what? Maybe pamper ourselves with something a little special. A deli or a supermarket that was once the go-to place for cold cuts, sliced cheese, and potato salad now offers more elevated dishes like lobster mac and cheese, lasagna marinara, poached salmon, and chicken marsala. Let's face it, even if you knew what you were doing in the kitchen, you'd have a hard time trying to prepare dishes like that. So it's a small wonder that when a Washington Post survey finds that less than 60% of dinners served at home are actually cooked there. I want to briefly mention another category of takeout, and that's sushi. It took a few years for mainstream America to get an appetite to eat raw fish wrapped in rice and seaweed. But today there's a sushi chef behind the counter at most supermarkets, and even drugstores in urban areas are joining the trend with sushi chefs of their own. It's kind of fun watching the sushi being prepared in real time, so we know it's fresh, and we also know that it's healthy and low in calories. Okay, let's move on and talk about another prepared meal option that's gaining popularity. Comes in a box, and it's delivered to your home. Names like Sunbasket, Green Chef, HelloFresh, and Blue Apron may not be household names right now, but our appetite for these home food delivery services is increasing. These delivery services are more than the pizza guy showing up at your house. No, these companies are built around the concept of preparing portion meals, packaging them, and sending them to your home. There are many meal options to choose from, and the food arrives at your doorstep frozen, pre-measured, prepackaged and complete with all the ingredients that you'll need. Now, you're probably thinking that this sounds like a little bit over the top. Oh, and by the way, what about the nutritional value? And that's a great question. I can tell you that most of these companies employ chefs who choose the recipes and use ingredients that conform to healthy eating. Many of these companies also employ registered dietitians or nutritionists who make selections based on our recommended daily allowance. And we also have their assurance that the food is nutritionally balanced. Now, with today's busy lifestyle, there's a big demand for home delivery. Last year, over 12 million U.S. households used meal kit delivery services, and that number will surely grow. Before I end, I have to acknowledge that some of you don't want to cook or even know much about cooking. And that's not really unusual. You have better things to do. It can be boring, it's messy, and with that is the cleaning up afterwards. I hear you. But you know what? Whether you eat frozen, prepared, delivered, or home-cooked meals, no matter how you slice it, it's all good. Bon appetit, and for Remember When, I'm Bob Spinozzi.